Hey everybody, I'm Amy Kundrat with CTbites. We're here at the 2013 Greenwich Wine and Food Festival, and I'm here with Adam Patrick, mixologist at Walrus & Carpenter in Bridgeport. And so actually my first question for Adam is mixologist or bartender?
That's a tough one. It kind of depends on how you look at it. From an outside point of view, mixology sometimes taken the wrong way. Pretentious, the kind of guy that looks down on the customer, isn't warming. I like to think of it as a two-prong approach. So the bartender is the talkative, friendly, appreciating the customer, working them through the menu. The mixologist understands the recipe. So it's a difference between, let's say, a chef, for example, all of these, and a line cook at the diner. You know, you have to have both properties. You have to be able to talk to the customers, interact, make them feel comfortable and friendly, but you still have to make a quality product.
So you got to be both, basically.
You have to be both.
You got to be both. And they're two separate things.
Although I prefer to be called a bartender, but.
All right. So, what's the one ingredient in your repertoire or in your bar that you cannot live without? I know that's tough because you've got a lot of ingredients, but what's the one thing that your go-to ingredient?
What's challenging about Walrus & Carpenter is that we chose an all-American spirits portfolio. My crutch, I suppose, with making drinks is Italian Amaro, so bittersweet, viscous type digestifs, and I don't have that luxury at Walrus, so we go with fresh ingredients, make our own infusions, fresh juices, bitters, things like that, but you want to embrace the bitter component because the largest complaint I see from most customers coming in is that the drinks are too sweet. Don't make me something too sweet. So they're obviously getting that somewhere and they don't like it. So we want to embrace the bitter component. We want to balance things out. Just like you're getting a meal, you don't want it to be too starchy, too this, too that. You want sweet, sour, bitter, strong, everything to work together. So
that's actually sort of my next question, which is how do you construct that perfect cocktail? So it's layering of those components?
It's important to first research and understand what's been done before. When you watch, a classic mixologist or read bartending books from 100 years ago, how they made their drinks, they made them for a reason, and it's like learning, classic French cuisine. You start with the basics and then build off it. So if you try to create something and don't understand the components, it's not going to work out. So it's about research, dedication, reading, going out, drinking. It's a tough job.
Research.
So
I happen to think that the Negroni is kind of God's gift to cocktails. What's your, it's late at night, you want a cocktail, you can sling them all night. What's that one cocktail you go to? For me, it's the Negroni.
The Negroni is great because you can drink it when you first wake up, for lunch, at dinner, 2 in the morning. It fits every single meal period, every single taste. It's a fantastic drink. For me, because I make the drinks so much, I'm probably just going to drink some booze in a glass. So give me some whiskey, a rocks glass, no ice.
What kind of whiskey? Which?
Well, I did bring Maker's 46 along, so I think that would be. It's original Maker's Mark, but there's some extra oak staves put in it, so it gives it a little bit of richness, spiciness. It's delicious stuff. Yeah.
So, kind of going on the other side of the bar, what's the one thing that we can do as customers to piss you off as a bartender? What do you see customers do that just really pisses you off?
I think it's the same thing that happened with food 10, 15 years ago, which is not really understanding what bartenders like myself are doing. It's we want you to relax and enjoy yourself and get drunk. It's okay. I know you're off from work, you're relaxing, you can do that, but I don't want you to come in just to get drunk. I want you to enjoy what we're giving you. So it can be frustrating if something you put your heart and soul into isn't appreciated because it's just a matter of throwing back as much alcohol as possible. But sometimes you throw back as much alcohol as possible.
Right. So is there any ingredient that you would never put in a drink?
Anything with pucker at the end of it.
Cosmos, Appletinis, nothing
wrong with the Cosmo, nothing wrong with that. Basic sour with a little cranberry juice, nothing wrong as long as it's made with fresh ingredients, no problem with that. But sweet, high fructose corn syrup, additives, food colorings, can't have it.
What's the most popular thing on your menu at Walrus & Carpenter? What do you
We make a pretty mean Manhattan, pretty good. We've tried to keep things seasonal, fresh, and different. So we have a drink with a small cocktail list, 6-7 cocktails, one with each liquor base. So one vodka, one gin, one rum, one tequila. And to keep it very simple, execute perfectly. I think that's the best way to do it.
So is there, for research, when you're trying to get inspired, where do you go? I mean, New York City.
A bar.
Well, so I'm thinking, I can think of a few great places in Connecticut that I go for cocktails, but there's so many in Manhattan. What's going to happen?
Oh, it's true.
So where do you go?
I mean, the East Village, if I'm going to go anywhere in New York. But I like to try new places, somewhere I've never been. I like to critique because we go to the same place all the time. You're not really learning anything at that point. But in Connecticut, I mean, there are so many places. I mean, we're surrounded by bar owners and bartenders right here that are doing things that are phenomenal for the state. Connecticut's behind a little bit, but we're slowly moving in the right direction with a combined collective effort, which is really important. Obviously, we're never going to catch up to New York City. That's a trendsetter for the world. But we can look at what they're doing and take it and own it. It's important. East Village, employees only. It's pretty good.
Employees only. Yeah. Where else? Where else do you go?
Let's see. A friend of mine introduced me to Amori Amargo in East Village. That's pretty good. PDT.
PDT is
classic
great.
cocktail place.
Pegu Club.
Definite Company. Pegu Club. Some places in Brooklyn. Dram. There's a really good spot in Williamsburg. You just get out and see different things. You can't stay at the same place a lot, but you meet people and you make friends. And I just ran into a guy in the tent over here, Todd, that I hadn't. I follow him on Twitter. I haven't seen him in 3 years. So you make these friends in places, and they. It's great. It's great business. Why would you want to do anything else?
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions? I thought maybe I'd open it up. Gina.
To drink, classic gin martini. Really strong, 114 proof gin, a little bit of dry vermouth, lemon twist, about 5 of them. It's perfect. To make, honestly, I know it sounds cliche, but it's whatever you want. If you really want it, you want me to make a drink, that's what I want. That's really important. I really believe that. It's not just, blowing smoke.
Any other questions? Cocktail questions, favorite cocktails? Nothing? Anybody?
You're so attentive.
Where did you get their pig as your signature when it's called the Walrus?
Because we're a smokehouse, so we have a 10-foot custom-built smoker in the back. No gas, direct heat. Nothing's finished in the oven. Everything's cooked over open cherry until it's finished. So it's pork-based, smokehouse-based. Wallace the Carpenter is a reference to Lewis Carroll from Alice in Wonderland. So it's kind of a literary hipster reference. You have to read it to see how it fits in.
Michael.
What's the drink that you despise making?
Well,
Besides cocktails.
there are certain drinks that you can go both ways with. I mean, if somebody orders a Cosmo, there's a 50% chance I'm going to not like making it. There's a 50% chance I am going to like making it. It depends on what they're looking for. Chocolate martinis, maybe something with T-I-N-I at the end of it, the martini. Those could be a little annoying because you don't really know what goes in it. All you know is it's sugary, it's sweet. Someone ordered it at some chain restaurant somewhere, and they want you to duplicate it, but you don't really know how, but they think you know how. So yeah, those can be a little frustrating.
Any other questions before we start a demo here? So I think, yeah.
Most versatile spirit.
Maybe gin? I mean, I guess theoretically vodka because you can put it in anything and it tastes like whatever you put it with, but it's not that inspired a spirit. It doesn't really bring anything to the drink except alcohol. I think gin, in place of alcohol, in place of vodka, most drinks, adds flavor, brings out the flavor of other things. So I'd say that's probably the way to go. I mean, bourbon, you're limited with certain fruits, certain mixers. I think gin, you can pretty much get away with anything, or you can just drink it straight.
Any other questions?
I've been to a couple places that don't have a menu per se, but they just come up with what do you like? Let's start that way. What's your thought on that versus having a specific menu?
Well, the trend of this business has gotten mildly pretentious in some places. And I was in New Orleans, New Orleans a couple of months ago, and there was a spot like that where they don't have a drink menu. I'm super comfortable in a place like that because I trust the bartender, I trust they know what they're doing. If I didn't know the business myself, I may be ostracized from a place like that. I think they may be trying a little bit too hard, but I mean, if their business model works that way and they're successful and they make money for their owners and their partners, then more power to them, you know. And sometimes you have to pick your clientele. Like I said, I'm super comfortable there. It just depends. I wouldn't do that at my restaurant, personally. I think you have to give someone a launching pad and then build off of it. But I'm happy to make the best I can the drink that you want that isn't on the menu. But I think you should have some kind of starting point to figure out where you want to go.
Great, thanks. I think we're gonna do a demo. Adam, what are you making us?
So we're gonna do just a classic whiskey sour, really simple, but maybe a little bit different than you've seen it before. So
Great.
do that. All right.
So he's right over there.
All right. So the idea here is fresh ingredients. No bottled sour mixes, nothing coming off your soda gun in the restaurant that might have, you know, yellow number 5, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's very simple. It's alcohol, citrus, sugar, water. You can't get any simpler than that. So we're going to start with 2 ounces of Maker's 46 bourbon, which I explained earlier is my personal favorite. So it's 2 ounces. And then we're going to do a full ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. If you have the ability in your bar, volume-wise, to do this to order, cut the lemon, squeeze it in the drink, I recommend doing that. It can be difficult with volume service, especially around here. It's going to be a half an ounce of simple syrup that is 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. It better approximates actual granulated sugar and doesn't bring a lot of water to the drink. So now here's where a lot of people make the mistake. How many times have you gone into a bar and seen this? All right, so now you're getting a soggy, watery, unboozy mess. So I'm gonna give it a little bigger.
Woo! Toss it up, toss it up. Look at those guns. Oh!
And what that's going to do is properly dilute the drink, properly chill the drink, which is the reason that you shake or strain anything, or shake or stir anything. And then, known as the European way of garnishing sours, just a simple lemon twist, fresh, squeeze it, get a little oil on there. That's it. Simple. All right. Who's got it? Who's jumping? Incredibly full. Maybe I'll leave it there. Or I'll do it first. Awesome. Anybody have any other questions? So, yes.
When do you stir a drink versus shake it?
So the theory here, that's the technique, is if the ingredients are clear, you want to stir. If the ingredients are opaque, you want to shake. Opaque shake. So cream, citrus, things like that, you want to shake. You want to aerate. You want to bring out the vibrancy of the lime or the lemon or the orange or something like that. With a Manhattan or a Martini, where you're doing, you know, alcohol and vermouth, you want to stir because you want to maintain clarity. You want to keep the drink looking slick. And you don't want to froth it all. It's not going to taste the same. And if you make a Manhattan shaken and then stirred, you will notice an immediate taste difference. They're not even close to each other. So, general rule: opaque shake. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.